Welcome to Kicking It in the Kitchen, a series from the Catalyze podcast. I'm your host, Ali Slack from the class of 2028. This series explores the how, why, and what behind the Morehead-Cain Summer Enrichment Program. Over the course of 4 years, scholars progress through 4 summers: the outdoor leadership, civic collaboration, global perspective, and professional experience. These metamorphic summers are designed to help scholars develop leadership skills, understand self-awareness, and grow their understanding of the world. In this episode, we speak with Corey Billingsley. Wait, I messed up your name.
It's okay.
Can we start again?
Yep. You want to say Corey Billingsley one time?
Corey Billingsley.
Perfect.
Nailed it. I was twisting my chair in the beginning.
Good.
Now I'm locked in.
Okay.
We good?
Yep.
Okay. Welcome to Catalyze. Nope. Welcome to Kicking It in the Kitchen. Okay. Welcome to Kicking It in the Kitchen, a series from the Catalyze podcast. I'm your host, Ali Slack from the class of 2028. This series explores the how, why, and what behind the Morehead-Cain Summer Enrichment Program. Over the course of 4 years, scholars progress through 4 summers. The outdoor leadership, civic collaboration helps scholars develop their leadership, grow their self-awareness, and expand their understanding of the world. In this episode, we speak with Corey Billingsley from the class of 2029 about her outdoor leadership summer. In the outdoor leadership, scholars spend several weeks in North America on a leadership course that tests their limits and inspires self-discovery. Corey, thanks so much for being here today.
Thank you for inviting me.
What are we having?
Today I'm having Sprite.
I'm having a Fresca. So to start, how's your semester been? I know that the jump between high school and college can sometimes be a big one.
Yeah, it's been pretty good. In the beginning, I had 17 and a half credits, and I quickly learned that was not the way to start my college experience. Mm-hmm. So after talking with Montez and advising, he was really helpful. He also helped me with any type of major change that I was feeling. So it's been pretty good. I've gotten to meet a lot of new people and get to know my professors. Okay. And so I've had a really good time.
Yeah, that's fantastic. I know I had a similar experience my freshman year. So
Georgia, but I also lived in Montgomery, Alabama, Greensboro, North Carolina, and I currently live in Seattle, Washington.
Wait, shut up. That's so cool.
Yes.
Any reason for the moves?
It's a new job. It has taken us to a different part of the country.
That's fantastic. Okay, so moving on to the outdoor leadership. So what was your initial reaction to that, when you learned about it?
I am not a camper at all. So it was definitely a summer that I was not necessarily looking forward to, but I knew I was open for the challenge. I am an appreciator of nature, and I acknowledged that I was going to be around mountains and animals, and I am a big astrology fan.
Yeah.
So I was excited to see the stars. And so I was like, okay, I can look for the positive in this. And obviously I was going to have to be out of my comfort zone. And I was with good people. So that definitely helped. But definitely initial impressions, I was a little nervous, especially I was with Knowles. And they very much stated in the beginning, this is not a beginner course. And I'm like, well, I'm a beginner. So I didn't know how it was going to work out for me.
Yeah. Wait, what summer did you do?
I was in Wyoming in the Wind River Range. And so I was in the Absaroka Mountains.
Okay,
and
fantastic.
We were there for 25 days. And that was a very intimidating experience. That was my first time in the state of Wyoming. And the first time that I've been in nature to that extent. So it was definitely a lot of adjustment, a long adjustment period. That first week was pretty rough. And Wyoming the climate is very interesting. And the town lander where we were staying had very different weather than what it actually was out in the mountains, which is something I wasn't expecting.
Yeah.
And that took some getting used to.
Speaking of like not expecting, how did your family and friends feel about it when you were telling them? Because I feel like that can be a hard thing to explain, like what you're doing.
Well, my mom was not excited whatsoever. Some schools require like junior backpacking trips and stuff like that. And I moved to Seattle right before my junior year. And so or like far enough before my junior year to where I didn't have to do said trip. And then I had to come do this. So she was not very excited. She did not want me out in the woods at all. But she also realized that Morehead was a great program. And so she was like, nothing, bad is going to happen to you. It'll be okay. And then my friends were all really shocked at the 25-day aspect. So they were like, that's a really long time. I was like, yeah, I agree. But I think that was like the most jarring thing for people was the length of time. And I agree. That was the jarring part for me too.
Yeah, I know. The time frame is just kind of insane. So I know for me, I did a little bit of like training, like super low key. But did you do anything like prepare physically or mentally before it?
Mentally, I low key was just thinking, I'm just gonna have to get there. It was kind of hard to like put myself in that mind space. And like the closer I got to it, the more I was like, whoa, I'm actually about to do this. So it was kind of just trying to keep a positive mindset in that part. And then physically, I broke in my boots a little bit. Me and my family went on a hike like a week before I ended up going out.
Seattle's a good spot for that too.
It was a great spot. And I got to see an alpine lake, which was pretty cool. The hike itself took like an hour and a half, I think. And there was a little bit of uphill, but no backpacking, no stakes needed. So it wasn't too intense of a hike, but it definitely is still very different from actual backpacking. And I go to the gym pretty often. So like I wasn't too worried about the physical aspect and I kept going to the gym, but I really didn't know what to expect. So I really didn't know how to prepare a ton. I still never actually wore a backpack until I arrived at Knowles.
Yeah, I was in the same boat. One of my friends had like hiked with a 30-pound backpack and I was like, oh no, am I ready for this? But then I feel like Knowles does a really good job of preparing you, which is great. So did you have any favorite moments of the trip? Getting into the good stuff.
Yes, I did have some favorite moments. My first favorite moment, which is also like mixed with not being a favorite moment, on the 5th day of our trip, we climbed our first mountain. And so I think the highest we went to was around 11,000 feet in elevation. And I think that whole day we climbed around 2,000 to 3,000 feet of elevation. So going up, it was pretty rough, but it was like one of the learning curves for us. Like we learned how to go uphill at our own pace. And I was with an all-girl group and it was just like really good vibes. Like we were like talking and singing and just like trying to distract ourselves from what we were doing. And we came up with Batty Mountain Babes. That was the name that we called ourselves. And anytime that we were like, just needed a pick me up, we would yell baddies. And then people would respond, talk to them. And so that was just a really fun thing that like kept us going. And then once we reached the top of the mountain, it was like super rewarding. But then also we couldn't stay up very long and we realized we had to go down. So we had a bit of a little downhill moment, literally. Emotionally, we were going through it.
I love this ride.
The downhill was really steep, and I was struggling with it personally. But my group did a great job of keeping me in it. Yeah. And then once we were going downhill for a while. Once we finally got like towards the end, we were in like a ton of deadfall was near, and we were just going back and forth. It was rough, but we came up with a chant and just like kept going, and we were down that mountain in no time. So it made us a little delirious, but it was really fun in the end. And that Batty Mountain Bays was something that like kept through the rest of the trip. Yeah. So
and probably I bet like into the school year. Yeah. I mean, how could you live something down like that?
Exactly. So I mentioned Batty Mountain Babe often. Anytime I go through something hard, was it Batty Mountain Babe? Like another favorite moment, we played a couple games, and I think those were definitely good ways to lift people's spirits and just like us getting to know each other. There was this one really weird game that we played called Bunny. And
oh my gosh.
I know.
It's
It's a strange game, but essentially you're trying to psych people out, and once the person in the middle is supposed to go bunny, 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 bunny. And then like people next to you are going tiki, tiki, tiki. It's just a weird Knowles game.
Yeah.
And it was just like so outlandish, and people were getting really, really into it. We only played it one time, but it was really funny. And I think that was one of the more exciting games that we played.
Yeah. And I feel like the cool thing about both of those things is like, even though I guess there was some hardship in it, you got to like really bond with your cohort.
Yes.
And that's something that I know for me and like my group, it was really comforting going in and knowing like, hey, I kind of have these super awesome memories with these super awesome people. Yeah. And then I get to do the next 4 years with them.
Which is great.
Yeah. You got those Batty Mountain babes.
I have those Batty Mountain babes. And everyone was a Batty Mountain babe. It was so true. It was great.
Yeah. So something that I did on my OL is I kept a journal, like just because I wanted to go back, basically like for the lore, you know what I mean? Of course. And so did you like do anything like that? Anyone in your group did something like that?
I did pick up a journal. That was the one promise that I kept to myself, that I was going to journal every day, because I feel like documenting something like this was very important to me. So I wrote. My notebook was actually kind of small, so I couldn't write as much as I wanted to, but I wrote at least 1 page of notes every single day, just of like how my day went, how like emotions, venting, like emotional stuff. And a lot of my friends kept a journal too. That was like a very popular thing, pretty important for everybody. And one of the things that helped me, one of my friends recommended like writing letters to my parents, and it would like make me sad, but also like relieving, because like it was killing me not being able to talk to them. And I was like experiencing so many different things, and I couldn't like tell them what's going on. So it was nice, like even just pretending that I could tell them what was going on. And the journaling just kept me sane. I was going through a lot of emotions, and my journal, if my journal could talk, it got all the emotions that I was feeling. So it was definitely very helpful part of the trip.
Yeah. It's honestly like for me, because I had a similar experience. I didn't write letters to my parents, but like I kept my journal for them. And it was helpful because it made the transition to college like great, because I carried journaling into college, is something that I do all the time now. And it also like helped me learn like, how do I communicate with my parents now that they're not there? So just
favorites.
Okay, eating well.
Yeah, I actually ate a lot better than I thought I was going to on that trip. There was one day Grace was in my cook group, and she made gluten-free pancakes for us, and that was low-key one of my favorite breakfasts on the trip. Shout out Grace, because it was raining that morning, and I was sad, and those pancakes made me feel better. But hash browns, summer sausage, and powdered eggs were a go-to breakfast scramble. Definitely something that could get tiring after a point, but that one was definitely a go-to. Yeah. On my birthday morning, we were able to make cinnamon rolls, which was really great. That was great. The cinnamon rolls were, that was in our third year ration period, but as we were longer in, we were able to cook more stuff. But definitely hash browns were the pretty basic go-to. Once we met as a group in our morning meeting, we would go over the hike for the day, like who's leaving in what order. We also had DLs, which were our designated leaders, and whoever was DL for that day would basically break it down to the whole group, their hiking group, what we're doing, when are we going to leave. And they were basically the delegator for that day, and they worked closely with the instructors to tell us what we were going to do. So a lot with looking at the map. And then once you go off on your hike, people would talk, play games. That's really a lot of the time where we got to know each other. Anything to distract from the weight on our back. The beauty too. The beauty too. Packs off breaks were always a nice time to eat food, snack up.
Go-to snack?
Oh,
I see what I care about.
I do see what you care about. We're cooking it in the kitchen. It's appropriate.
Yes.
I was a really big fan of Cinnamon Toast Crunch. I used to eat it a lot as a child, and this Wyoming trip was the first time I had eaten it in a really long time, and it was genuinely getting me through. Like nobody told us how hungry we were going to be, and my instructor told me that we were burning at minimum like 1,000 calories per day, and then on days where we're like hiking making up mountains. It's around 3,000. And so I wanted to eat all the time. And so Cinnamon Toast Crunch was my go-to for the first re-ration, but then they didn't give it to us again. And so that was heartbreaking. And I was basically on cheddar whales after that.
Those are good though.
They were pretty good.
They're pretty good.
And they also gave us Bobo bars, which were a limited commodity. We only got 2 per ration period, but they were like the best thing ever. I really loved the oatmeal raisin ones. And every time I go to the grocery store, I look for the Bobo bar and I have not found it. Knowles is clearly hiding them somewhere. What else did we do? Oh, after our hike, we would find out where can we set up kitchen? Is there water close by? What can we do? And so once that group is there and they're like done and everybody, knows where we're going to be, we set up camp, start cooking dinner, and we basically like kind of have our chill time after that. And then we'll have evening meeting, which is where the instructors will go through, and we had like a whole acronym for like what we were supposed to do. And now I can't even remember it. But we would just go over the day, talk about what is tomorrow. We also had these like times where somebody would like speak up and like share a story if they wanted to.
I love that.
Those parts were pretty sweet. Another time where we got to learn a lot about each other. This is times where people would make jokes. We would have appreciation time. And so we would say, oh, I appreciate so-and-so for doing this today. And it was just a great time to decompress. And then that's when the stars would start to come out. The bugs would go away. And then towards the like halfway through the trip, we started having campfires, and so that made evening meeting even nicer. And after evening meeting, the vibes. After evening meeting, depending on if it's dark out or not, our instructors wanted us to sleep pretty early, and most of the time you're tired from the day, so it's pretty easy. So some people will go back to their tents, others will stay up for a little bit, play games if there's time. And
which crowd were you in?
Which crowd?
Yeah, were you in like, like take me back? So
I wish that I listened to Knowles more, or I asked more questions in terms of food. So I didn't really understand how the re-ration worked when they first explained it to us, but my birthday was on the trip, and so my parents did give me letters, and I put that in the re-ration, so I have to hold it the whole time. But for some reason, I didn't think, hey, I can do that. I didn't have any personal snacks besides the ones that I brought with me in the beginning, and so I was rationing those out. But if I knew that I could have like keep adding food, like I would have done that. And considering like how hungry I was, I'm also a picky eater. I don't like chocolate. I don't like peanuts, and there was like so much of that on the trip because there's this protein and sugar, and it just like was hard to eat sometimes, and I had to just like work with what I had. So I would definitely, if I was doing something like that again, add way more food so I can like just soften the blow.
Exactly. Y'all heard it here. Add the food if you get the opportunity.
Add food.
Okay, so I remember one of my favorite parts about OL was just getting to kind of unplug for the first time in my life, which is crazy to think about. Like, we've had technology for so long. But how did you feel like just taking a step back before going into college, just like technology super heavy?
I was actually really excited to be away from my phone. And while I was out there, it really wasn't something that I thought about too often. I